Possibly the best part in your whole copywriting journey is when you start making money online for the very first time. And in this video, I'm going to show you the ultimate guide to getting your first $1,000 within 30 days of starting. And of course, if you're wondering if there are any other people who have done this before, well, allow me to pull back the curtain and show you a bunch of people, right? So we have a lot of people who have hit crazy months, 5K, 10K. But if we're just talking about $1,000, dude, copywriters are posting $1,000 wins pretty much on a daily basis. And there is no reason why you can't be next. So let's check some of them out. Over here, we have Ryan Palmer, $240 for the day, and also has made over $4,000 with copywriting altogether, just starting out. We also have Marcus, who's talking about how he's been in copywriting for almost a year now, and he just got his first $1,500 copywriting client. We also have Pashal from Nigeria now. People ask me on a daily basis, I don't know if like 50% of my viewers are from Nigeria or what. People always ask me, Tyson, what if I'm from Nigeria? Yes, my friends, Nigerians can also do it as well. As you can see, he has a $4,000 bag right here. We have another guy, Thesis, who just got his first $800 client right there. We also have Mike, who is talking about how he actually outreached to somebody and said that they were working with an agency. He beat the agency essentially in numbers, and now he got paid a $2,100 per month retainer. Then we have another guy who is now a 5K copywriter in the 4D community. Then we have Danny, who is now a 1K per month copywriter. We also have Reese, right, one of my one-to-one students in the 4DCI. He's talking about how he got his very first $1,500 deal right here. We also have Devin, who's talking about how he got his first 2K client thanks to 4DCI, which I'll explain what that is in a moment here. And we also have the main man, Ethan, here as well, talking about how he got his first $1,000 due to 4DCI. I think this was like 2 weeks after we started working with him. And then another client not too long after that, at $1,300 and also 10% commission. So one of the things that might be popping in your head is like, what is this 4DCI? And I understand around here we have a lot of acronyms for email structures and programs and everything else. I mean, it feels like just alphabet soup. So 4DCI is essentially the 4D Copy Intensive, the one-to-one mentorship program. And this is essentially just like how it sounds. I work with you, me and my team, one-to-one to help you get those clients. I'm gonna pay you 2, 3, 4K per month if you are interested or even wanna learn more. The link for that is down below in the description. So now look, you know it is more than possible to get your first $1,000 client. In fact, you can get your first $1,000 client as soon as tomorrow, which is one of the great parts about copywriting, is that just one outreach could possibly change your life. But how do you actually go about completing this one outreach, finding that one client that's gonna pay you at least $1,000? Well, I've distilled every single step into a beautiful acronym that goes F.I.R.S.T.K, F-I-R-S-T-K, to get your first 1K client. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'll actually be giving you some secret sauce and showing you exactly how I've outreached to get my very first 3K per month copywriting client. So the F in F.I.R.S.T.K stands for fast action. And the reason why is because this is essentially step one of anything, okay? So the big problem that most copywriters have is just watching too much content. They watch content and content and content. And bro, I'm here to tell you, content is awesome. There's a reason why I've uploaded hundreds of hours of content, even an 8-hour copywriting course on this very video. But the problem is when people are just watching content and not taking action. What you want to do is take action while you're watching content, because this is going to give you a different perspective. If you're someone who's never outreached before and you're hearing me talk about the outreach process and how to get better at outreach, but you've never done it before, again, you're gonna come at it with a different perspective and you're not gonna really understand what I'm saying. So then people always ask me, well, Tyson, I feel confused. So how can I stop feeling confused and start feeling confident so I can start outreaching? And this, my friends, I mean, you have it all the way backwards. My friends, you don't need to not feel confused in order to take action. You need to take action despite your confusion. This is a huge reason why people just stay stuck, is because they give themselves the false requirement that in order for me to start outreaching, I can't feel confused or I have to feel confident. When in reality, the way that you're gonna stop feeling confused and start feeling confident is if you start outreaching. And this concept of speed really is the #1 indicator of a successful copywriter. I just showed you all the guys that I worked with one-to-one, and the #1 thing that they all did is they all took extremely quick action. They didn't really ask many questions. They didn't have any doubts. We told them what to do and they were very coachable and just did it. They just did it. We told them to do 20 outreaches a day. They did the 20 outreaches a day. You want to know the people who don't get the best results as soon as possible is when we tell them to do 20 outreaches a day, and then we want to see their outreaches, and then they say, well, I did 5 or I did 7. So this really is the big thing, okay? As long as you can get consistent in your outreach and also get better as you go, those are essentially the only 2 things that you need. And the thing I want to leave you here with last is that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And that definitely goes with copywriting. It seems super scary. It seems like you're going to do something and mess something up and someone's going to get mad at you, but you're going to do it and you're going to realize, hey, a lot of people out here aren't even replying. They're not even replying. And if they do reply, they're not mad at me. They just aren't interested in my services. And some of them actually will be interested in your services. And when you outreach to them, this could be the number one big break of you getting to your first $1,000. Now I get it. You might not have an extremely clear idea of what you're going to do, what you're going to talk about, what you're going to say, what you're going to offer them. But dude, trust me, if you just stumble through it, you'll find yourself at the end and you'll be way better than if you hadn't and if you just stayed stuck. That was F. And of course, next we have I. And I stands for identifying your prospect. Probably one of the biggest issues that copywriters who do outreach have is that they're outreaching to the wrong people in the wrong way. One of the biggest factors of this is, of course, niche. Everybody gets niche wrong. They just don't really understand it. Niche is either health, wealth, or relationships. So in order for me to get my very first client, I have to pick one of these niches, okay? So I have to find the best niche, and then I have to pick one, and then I have to outreach to all the businesses in this niche. And the fact of the matter is that this is not something that you should be doing. This is not a paradigm that you should subscribe to. Instead, what we teach our students who are winning and killing it with copywriting is to just understand that niche is a nice to have, but not necessarily a necessity. It is not something that you need to only outreach to fitness people or only outreach to people who are in relationships or talk about wealth. Essentially, we have reframed it so that your niche are just people who need copywriters, people who want to make more money with their email list. Because I'll be honest, I've written for all types of niches, from people who are in the business opportunity space, people who are in real estate, people who were doing like holistic health coaching for people in their 40s. I mean, that one was weird. I didn't really know what I was doing. But again, all it takes is a little bit of research, and copy is copy. It doesn't really matter. Now, again, if you're somebody who only outreaches and only gets people who are talking about real estate, you're going to get better at that type of copy. But if someone's willing to pay you $5,000 per month to write some relationship copy, are you going to say no? Of course not. So what does this mean? You should be outreaching to everybody who has an offer that looks like it could benefit from your copywriting, or somebody who has an email list that looks like it could benefit from your copywriting. Nextly, when it comes to identifying your prospects, I'm always a proponent of starting small, starting with smaller prospects. All of the guys that I've shown you, well, most of them have outreached to people over Instagram, and that's how they got their very first client. And they've outreached to people with just a few thousand followers, maybe 10,000 or 20,000. And the reason why is because obviously they're going to be more likely to respond. They're going to be less likely probably to pay you a bunch of money. But in the beginning, dude, that's okay. It's better to work for free for somebody than to work for free for nobody and just be practicing in your room with no clients. So I advocate for you to start outreaching to people who are small. Now, once you get your first small fish, your first project down, and you're now a proven copywriter, dude, then you should start outreaching to those big fish, those big companies, those big brands that are gonna give you your big break, your big 3K per month, 4K per month deals. And if you're looking to get started in outreach and you wanna know exactly who to start outreaching to from the very, very beginning, the best people to outreach to is your network, the people that you know. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that at the very end of this video, but essentially it's just how it sounds. You outreach to the friends and families and friends of friends and people you know and ex-coworkers and all these sorts of things, and you're gonna be able to get your very first client without having to do any cold outreach. And now when you do go about doing cold outreach, you'll have something. Maybe it's a testimonial. Maybe it's some stats on how good your copy is. Or maybe it's just someone that you've worked with and you're able to say, yeah, I've worked with this other big brand who is doing big things. And this will make you look way better, because the last thing you want to say on a sales call when they ask you what your experience is, well, I don't have any. So that was F and that was I, and next is R, which means research outreach methods, okay? So don't go overboard with research, okay? I think I've made that point very clear, but you are going to want to start outreaching and then get a deeper understanding of every outreach method that you're using. So for example, on this channel, I have a certain set of outreach methods that I teach, that I show, and I've shown how have worked for me before and my students before in the past. So by outreaching and then researching some more, and then outreaching and researching some more, essentially you are giving yourself the best chances of getting a client because you are improving your understanding of the methods. But there's also a wrong way to do it. When you've been copywriting for long enough, you really understand that there is no best outreach method, and every outreach method is essentially the same. You're asking someone if they want some value or if they want to hop on a call, whether it be through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through Instagram, through email. Not one of these is better than another. You might think that one is better than another because you see somebody win with it, or maybe you think, oh, well, this one's untapped or nobody's even doing outreach on here. Let me give it to you like this. The places where nobody's doing outreach is for a reason. It's because outreach there doesn't work very well. The places where everybody's doing outreach and everybody's getting clients, those are the ones that are most viable because it's already working for people. Oh, but Tyson, like everybody already does Instagram outreach and these clients have already been outreached to. Dude, all of my students are getting clients on a daily basis. Please explain to me in simple English terms how this makes Instagram oversaturated. I'll never understand. Obviously, this is just cope for the people who are just not doing very well, don't have a client yet, or just want to see results before they are ready. And again, if you do too much outreach research, you're looking at too many people and too many creators, all you're gonna do is lead to yourself getting confused because all these different creators are essentially just gonna be contradicting themselves. They're all gonna be saying different things, and it's gonna leave you more confused than informed. So I'll just give you the most simple outreach method that there really is, okay? Step one, you find prospects. You find people on either TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. These are some of the easiest ones to use. These are the ones that you probably use every single day, so you know how to use them. Once you find people who look viable, right? So they have an online product, they hopefully have an email list or a landing page, you can get their email. Finding their email is pretty simple. If you find their YouTube, it's usually on there in the About section. If you find their Instagram, sometimes there is a Contact Me button. And if you find their TikTok, usually they have other socials that have links to their Instagram and links to their YouTube as well, so you can also find it there. Once you get their email, essentially all you have to do is offer them some free value. So, hey, I made this thing for you. I made you some free email samples. I made you a Loom video. I made you a new landing page. I made you something with my copy. Would you like to see it? And then they email you back saying, yeah, sure. You send it over to them. Then they say, wow, this is awesome. And then you offer to hop on a call with them. You don't want to just be emailing everybody and saying, hey, here's my call link. Hey, you want to hop on a call? Because as a business owner, I ain't hopping on no call with nobody who hasn't actually shown me they can help me improve my business, AKA stranger danger. You're going to waste my time. So when we send people some free value that they can actually use, maybe they can actually use your emails on their email list and see how they perform. Now you are giving yourself the best chance of actually getting on one of those sales calls. And everybody does outreach wrong. So if you're able to do outreach right, it doesn't matter how many people have outreached to the people that you're outreaching to. If your outreach is better, they are going to pick you. And I have some proof of that coming up. Because that was F-I-R, and next is S, which means send personalized outreach. Pro tip, it doesn't matter how many outreaches you send or even how good it is. If it isn't personalized, it will not work because it looks like a template or a bot. Let me give you an example. So here's an example of someone who has actually outreached to me before in the past. They say, hi, Tyson. I hope you're enjoying your day so far. I got to say, I love the look and feel of your brand. You guys look like you're onto something. Like, what does that even mean? I'm low-key offended, but we're just gonna keep reading it. My team and I have taken a look at your social media brand, and we are very confident we can help you achieve 3x followers and double your current monthly revenue and high-ticket clients interested in your services in the next 180 days. The cherry on top, if we don't deliver, we don't eat. Well, not literally, but we don't get paid. Simply put, if we don't get results, you don't pay. By the way, I'm a real person. I put together a quick video to introduce myself, and he sent me a link. Also, we've helped creators, blah, 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 right? Some other stuff about who they've helped. I don't care about it. The reason I don't care about it is because these people have done zero research. They know nothing about my brand. I already know that they're copying and pasting this to everybody. The compliment makes zero sense. How do you look and feel a brand? What does that even mean? You guys look like you're onto something. Like we're onto something? We've been onto something. Like if anything, you're onto something sounds condescending. Condescending. We are a seven-figure business. I think that we're onto something too, my friend. I don't know. It really rubs me the wrong way. But on the other hand, when you do start to send personalized outreach, you can get responses like this that my students get all the time, which is usually I ignore all these kinds of emails. However, I appreciate the effort you put in. I'm happy to jump on a call and see if there's any way for us to work together. And these are also not small prospects. This response was from a guy with hundreds of thousands of followers, one of the top guys in his industry. So that was F-I-R-S. And next is for T, which means to test different approaches, but not too much and not too little. So let me explain. To understand innovation and testing, we first must understand the law of averages. So let me give you an example. If you have a coin and you flip this coin 3 times and it lands on heads every single time, does that now mean you have a magical coin that lands on heads 100% of the time and will never land on tails? The answer is no. Why? Because you've only flipped it 3 times. But on the other hand, if you flip it 1,000,000 times, chances are the likelihood of it landing on heads versus tails is going to be 50-50. So the lesson here is that the more data you get, the more accurate the data will be. So if you've done 10 outreaches of a certain method and it doesn't work, don't move on to the next method because you won't have enough data to give you an accurate review. My rule of thumb is to stick with one process for 1 month. And then at the end of that 1 month, you change one big thing about it. So maybe you change where you're finding the clients, you change what your messaging is, or you change where you message them on. Maybe it's email, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's somewhere else. But the big thing here is that you only want to change one thing at a time, because if you change too many things, you're not going to know what worked and what didn't. And this is how you can start improving your outreach, especially when you start tracking. Because as you guys know, if you're not tracking, you are slacking. And now that we have gone through F-I-R-S-T, it is time to finally get K, to get your first K, as in your first $1,000 with copywriting. And the K stands for keep following up. Keep following up, not just follow up, keep following up as in forever. Let me explain. This is something that most copywriters do not do. 99% of people do not do. So 99% of copywriters don't even outreach. And then out of the 1% who do outreach, 99% of those people don't even follow up long-term. And that's why you're going to get the client and they're not going to get the client. Because one of the most important parts of getting a client is staying top of mind. If you want to know what top of mind means, it's the exact reason why McDonald's does advertisements, even though everybody already knows what McDonald's is. Essentially, they want to just be top of mind. So if you're hungry right now, McDonald's wants you to be reminded of them so that you can go and eat at their store. So your prospect might not need a copywriter right now, but maybe in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. And who are they gonna look for first? Are they gonna put out ads, or are they gonna post on job boards, or are they gonna give the guy who's been in their DMs for the last 6 months a chance? So what does this mean in practice? Well, if anyone has ever acknowledged you or answered your message, you want to follow up with them until the rest of time. So follow-ups are essentially like 3 to 4 days apart. And then there's something else called circle backs. Circle backs are something that's like 3 weeks to 1 month to like 3 months apart. And I've sent these in my copywriting journey, and this is how I got my very first 2K deal. I actually ended up outreaching to these guys over the span of months. And this is a very common story when it comes to outreaching with copywriting. You'll notice that a lot of the guys who get their big clients, especially their first big clients, are the dudes who have been outreaching and who have been following up for months and months on end, which is part of the reason why I tell you, you should be outreaching early and often, because chances are you're not going to get it on your very first swing. And if you're wondering how to follow up without being annoying, the trick is to follow up with value. Follow up with a different angle every single time. Not just, hey, did you see my message? I'm still here. Need a copywriter yet? Need a copywriter yet? Need a copywriter yet? No, instead, you create the value and you send it over every single time. Something different, something new, something fresh. And if you implement this complete first K framework, there is no earthly reason as to why you can't get your first or next $1,000 copywriting client in the next 30 days or less. Because I've seen it happen time and time again, especially through coaching copywriters one-to-one. And speaking of the one-to-one, if you guys are interested in me coaching you one-to-one and my team actually coming in and looking at everything that you're doing, from your copy to your outreach to how you're following up with prospects and everything in between, the link for that is down below. If it no longer works, that means that we're full and we are not accepting any more students. But if it still works, again, then you can feel free to apply. And if you want to actually watch me outreach step by step and how it actually looks, I have a YouTube video on that. And if you want the free 8-hour copywriting course, I'll leave that one up there too. All right, everybody, that's it for today. And of course, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.